Hello everybody, today is the 21st of April and as always, we're gonna tell the pain story. This pain story changed a lot of people's life and shed light into why something happened to our life and how we can create or manifest our dream life in a very certain way. So are you ready? Let's get started. What is this? It's a pen. What do we use a pen for? To write. Now there is a dog inside the room. I'm gonna read this info. The dog, what does the dog do? The dog probably will sleep, blink or chew the shade. Does the dog see this one as a pen? No. So for the dog, this one is not a pen, but for the human, this one is a pen. So who is correct, the dog or the human? The answer is both are correct. For the dog, this one is a chewing toy, and for the human, this one is a pen to write. The dog is correct in the dog one, the human is also correct in the human one. So that is our first lesson, both are correct. Now, let's imagine that there is a table in front of me, so I'm going to put this thing on the table. And then both the dog and I will walk out the room. So inside the room, there'll be no human, no dog. What does this thing become? Is that still a pen or a chewing toy? Neither, right? It is almost nothing, and the actions we don't call this one as the emptiness. The emptiness is actually a very magical definition. As we understand the emptiness, we'll be able to achieve anything in our life. Just like issue Michael Roche, by the emptiness interest business, I was able to build a business with a revenue of $215 million a year. He's also able to help civil refugees. So what is the emptiness? Why is that so magical? Let's go back to the first story, okay? So this thing currently on the table where there's no human, no dog, or nothing to interact with. It come back to choose and we call it the emptiness. So the emptiness is not, nothingness, is not darkness, it's not, no phone, no thinking. The emptiness is just yourself when it doesn't interact with anyone. And we are, whether we are human and object, and we all have the emptiness, right? But then in reality, we always interact with someone, so we always can have the potential to become anything and one really what is looking at us. And what do I mean by that? So let's go back to the pen story you will see, okay? So when this one is alone by itself, it is almost nothing. But as soon as I go back into the room and I look at this, this becomes a pen. When the dog comes back to the room and the dog look at this becomes a chewing toy. And when both the dog and I comes back to the room at the very same time, we both look at this at the very same time. It doesn't seem become. One becomes two things. The pen for me and a chewing toy for the dog. So a single thing, when it doesn't interact with someone, then is this. It's come back to choose the coin is have the emptiness, right? But then because has the emptiness, it also has the potential to become anything and really what is looking at this at the moment. So that is our second reason. Along with the emptiness, we all have limitless potential. Now I see this as a pen, so this is pen coming from me, or this is pen coming from myself. This pen is actually coming from me. Why am I so certain? Because if this thing is the pen itself and the job or anything in this entire universe, we have to see it for what it is, which is a pen. But does the dog see this one as a pen? So this pen is actually coming from me. This pen is actually coming from my mind, and everything is actually coming from my mind. So that is our third lesson. Everything is actually coming from our mind. Now we all agree that this pen is coming from my mind, right? So I'm going to change my mind and I'm going to make this one become a diamond. Okay, so please believe me. Diamond, diamond, diamond. Okay, it's still a pen. So what in my mind that forced me to see this as a pen but not a diamond? They all see it inside our mind that the actual wisdom was coming. When we see something inside our mind pop up, open up and come with this and made us see for what had been planted into our mind. So who planted the seed into our mind then? Only you can plant the seed into your mind, and only I can plant the seed into my mind. How can we do it? We do it by two ways, by word, by actions, by thoughts, especially to other people. So for instance, I'm gonna hold on to this. I'm gonna say that I have a pen. Would you like to have this pen? When my friend say yes, please, they'd be so happy to give this to my friend. I hope I can have my friend. When I do this pump will open up in both me and my friend will see it. It's probably been marked in my mind. A couple days later, when I see this, I recognize this one as a pen, which means that the seed of the pen is every planted into my mind. pop up, open up and cover this and made a seal with a head and magic into right. And this is how a pen become a pen or anything so others become what they belong to us. In the pen story, there are several meaningful lessons. Today we went over 4 different lessons. The first lesson is both are corrupt. So we learn to respect each other's opinion, we learn to respect each other's choices, and we learn to listen to each other with a compassionate heart. It's a very simple lesson, but it's actually very difficult to do and to apply it into our life, especially when we are in the emotional stage. So often the tip that I would apply for myself is that, just take everything slow. What do I mean by that? So before reacting to something that you are disagree with, making sure that you take a deep breath first, and then that deep breath, just that second, is actually will give you some time to think, to maybe release a bit of the emotional state, and then just let it. Then you might be able to consider the other people perspective and where they're coming from. It's not easy. It's not easy, but with practice, I think that we'll be able to get calmer. The second lesson is, along with the emptiness, we all have limitless potential. So trust your potential, trust the potential of everyone or everything around you, and trust the potential whatever happened to you. And this one, the tip that I've been telling myself recently is that, whatever happened to you at this moment is the best thing that can happen to you. And with that mindset, you'll be able to search out and think about the possibility of whatever happened to you at that very moment, whether it's the thing that delightful thing or not, is, you'll be able to look at it and then observe it in a more positive way. And then another thing that I actually combine in the 2 lessons is that, the thing that happened to you is actually only 10% of what is actually is, which is the emptiness. 90% of that is how you react to that. And so, whether it's a good thing, it's a bad thing, is most of the time, 90% of that is coming from your reaction. So the third lesson is everything is actually coming from the seed inside our mind. So we be 100% responsible to whatever happened to us. We don't blame anyone, because in the end, we are the only one who can plant the seed into our mind. And that is a very important lesson, because it shows us that we have to be responsible to our life. But aside from that, we also have the capability of control our life, whether our life, whichever direction is go, in the better direction, in the worst direction, is all up to us. And last but not least is how to create or manifest our dream life in a very certain way. So first, you have to know what you want in your dream life, right? And then second, you stop planting those seeds using your work, your action, your thoughts, your other people. So for instance, you want to have a happiness, then you plant the happiness seed using your work, your action, your thoughts, your other people, helping other people to be happier. If you want to have health, and you want to be healthy, then your words, your action, your thoughts, and other people helping them to be healthier. And just like that, whatever that you want, making sure that you use your word, your action, your thoughts, your other people helping them to get that very same seed. And that is the very, very best way to plant the seed into your mind and secure it with your work, your action, your thoughts, with other people. And one of these days, you'll be able to harvest the good result from that seed. And the lesson that I would like to share with you all today is that, recently I've been seeing that both Anil and I, we've been posting the pen story quite early in the day, as well as whether it's late or not, we try not to miss it. And I think it's actually a very good result, just persistently. And then it's almost 3 years. It's almost 3 years since we first, or more than 3 years since we first, became buddy. There'll be time that I slack up, and then he's consistent posting the pen story is something that pushed me forward. And then by reviewing the lesson from each other, we keep encouraging each other to move forward each and every day to get closer to our goals of having completing 3,000 days of telling and hearing the pain story. And I think that is a very meaningful lesson. And I'm very grateful to have such a great body like Unknown. So, Louis very disciplined, also very consistent. So that it keep us moving forward to the same direction. So thank you so much everyone for listening to me today. Thank you, Anil, for accompanying the 2000-day journey. And if I may share with you the pain story of my lessons, something good, I would like to dedicate that to Joe's family, to my friends, to my coworkers, to my neighbors, to my clients, or to any living things in this world and other worlds with love, wisdom, and gratitude. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great day. Bye bye.